Alcohol addiction. Alcohol addiction, also known as alcoholism, is a chronic disease where a person cannot control their drinking despite negative consequences. It affects the brain's reward system, making the person crave alcohol more and more. Over time, the body builds tolerance, requiring larger amounts to feel the same effect. Withdrawal symptoms like anxiety, sweating, and nausea occur when they try to stop. The liver becomes damaged, leading to cirrhosis and liver failure. The heart weakens, increasing the risk of stroke and heart disease. Families are torn apart, jobs are lost, and relationships crumble. Alcoholism is not a moral failing, and it is a medical condition that requires treatment. Recovery is possible through therapy, medication, and support groups. Understanding addiction is the first step toward healing. Drug addiction. Drug addiction involves the compulsive use of substances like opioids, stimulants, and cannabis. Opioids, including heroin and prescription painkillers, are among the most dangerous. They cause physical dependence, and withdrawal can be extremely painful. Stimulants like cocaine and methamphetamine increase energy but lead to paranoia and heart problems. Cannabis addiction is less severe but can still cause dependency. Drug addiction destroys lives and tears families apart. It is a chronic brain disorder requiring professional treatment. Recovery is possible through detox, therapy, and medication. Nicotine addiction. Nicotine addiction is one of the most common and hardest addictions to break. Found in cigarettes, vaping devices, and tobacco products, nicotine is highly addictive. It stimulates dopamine release, creating a pleasurable sensation the brain craves. Over time, tolerance builds, requiring more nicotine. Withdrawal causes irritability, anxiety, and intense cravings. Smoking leads to lung cancer, heart disease, and respiratory problems. Vaping carries similar risks. Quitting is difficult but possible with nicotine replacement therapy, counseling, and medication. Caffeine addiction. Caffeine addiction is the most widely consumed psychoactive substance in the world. Found in coffee, tea, energy drinks, and soda, caffeine blocks sleep-inducing chemicals in the brain. It increases alertness and energy, but overuse leads to dependency. Regular consumption builds tolerance, requiring more caffeine to feel the same effect. Withdrawal symptoms include headaches, fatigue, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. Excessive intake causes anxiety, insomnia, and heart palpitations. Reducing intake gradually helps break the cycle of dependency. Gambling addiction. Gambling addiction is the compulsive urge to gamble despite devastating financial and personal consequences. It affects the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and creating a temporary high. Over time, the person needs to gamble more to achieve the same feeling. Losses are chased with more gambling, leading to debt and financial ruin. Relationships suffer, jobs are lost, and lives fall apart. It is a recognized mental health disorder. Treatment includes therapy, support groups, and financial counseling. Food addiction. Food addiction is characterized by compulsive overeating, especially of high sugar and high fat foods. These foods trigger the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and creating pleasure. Over time, the brain craves more, leading to binge eating and weight gain. It leads to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. It is often linked to emotional eating, where people use food to cope with stress or depression. Treatment includes therapy, nutritional counseling, and support groups. Gaming addiction. Gaming addiction is the compulsive use of video games, often at the expense of other life activities. Recognized by the World Health Organization as a mental health condition, it affects millions worldwide. The immersive nature of games triggers dopamine release, creating a sense of achievement. Over time, the person prioritizes gaming over work, school, and relationships. Physical health suffers from lack of exercise and poor sleep. Social isolation is common. Treatment includes cognitive behavioral therapy, setting time limits, and finding alternative activities. Internet and social media addiction. Internet and social media addiction is the compulsive use of online platforms. Driven by dopamine hits from likes, shares, and notifications, it creates a cycle of constant checking and scrolling. Over time, the brain craves more engagement, leading to hours of screen time. It is linked to anxiety, depression, and poor sleep. Real-world relationships suffer and productivity drops. Treatment includes setting screen time limits, digital detoxes, and therapy. Shopping addiction. Shopping addiction is the compulsive urge to shop and spend money, often leading to financial ruin and relationship problems. It is driven by the dopamine rush of making a purchase. The excitement creates a temporary high, quickly followed by guilt and regret. Over time, the person needs to shop more to achieve the same feeling. Debt accumulates and financial stress worsens. Treatment includes therapy, financial counseling, and support groups. Work addiction. Work addiction, or workaholism, happens when someone can't stop working even when they're exhausted. They feel anxious without tasks to complete. They skip meals, lose sleep, and cancel plans with friends and family. Their self-worth becomes tied to how much they produce. Health declines, relationships suffer, but work is never finished. The cycle continues. Breaking free means learning to rest without guilt, setting boundaries, and rediscovering life outside the office.